Welcome from the studios of KPBS TV in San Diego, California. We are reaching you live through a unique and complex international telecommunications network via satellite, microwave, and cable. The International Training Center at San Diego State University brings us together in this video conference, which joins distinguished organizations located in Mexico, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Ecuador, Venezuela, Peru, Brazil, Bolivia, Paraguay, Argentina, the United States of America, and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development in Geneva, Switzerland. This is a historic, first-ever institutionalized live video conference link between ITC and Cuba. We welcome our new colleagues in La Habana to our unique multinational training and education effort. Distinguished experts join us today to examine the topic, Telecommunications and Multimedia, Essential Resources for Global Competitiveness. This is the fourth video conference of the series on competitive success with a global focus. My name is Michael Reel. I am Director of the School of Communications at San Diego State University and the moderator for today's program. The program today is composed of 2 presentation modules and 2 question and answer sessions. We look forward to your live participation. Our subject is telecommunications and multimedia. What are these? To some of us, they sound like more of those scary technical words. But basically, they are merely practical, useful, even necessary tools in the electronic age. Telecommunications and multimedia, despite the complex technologies behind them, are simple instruments of communication. Multimedia merely means that instead of one medium, we employ several, using combinations of voice, video, and/or data. Telecommunications means using an electronic relay system to deliver the multimedia to another location. For example, when 2 offices are linked by phone lines and they share voice and computer information over those lines, they are using telecommunications and multimedia. No government, business, or school can be successful in the current global economy without utilizing telecommunications and multimedia, both for internal communication among one's own staff and for external communication to outside clients, students, and customers. In many respects, our overview today of telecommunications and multimedia draws together and summarizes the variety of technologies for global competitiveness that we've been examining in teleconferences over the last several years. Change is rapid. As we move toward ever more transparent, invisible network systems, a standard digital protocol, SDP, in future years will erase concerns over whether we are transmitting voice or data, audio or video, text or graphics, and whether we are transmitting to many or few, nearby or far away. The global marketplace for telecommunications services is expected to exceed $1 trillion by 2001. According to Joseph Nacio, the majority of telecommunications in the future will be in the form of packets, bits of data that carry video, audio, and email. Today, telecommunications lines carry mostly voice. In a few years, they will be carrying mostly data and multimedia. Chrysler's chairman, Bob Eaton, estimates that 1 in 4 American car buyers will use the internet this year. By 2001, it will be 1 in 2. They won't buy their car on the internet, but they will comparison shop on it. As bandwidth increases, the industry now talks of unlimited bandwidth. Almost anything becomes possible over the internet. Our guest experts today will explain how we can seize these opportunities, how we can make our operations more effective and efficient through advanced telecommunications and multimedia. Dr. Farhad Saba is an expert in the design, development, and production of instructional systems using interactive multimedia and integrated telecommunications technologies. He holds a Ph.D. in instructional technology and is a professor of educational technology at San Diego State University. Previously, he was director of educational radio and television for the country of Iran and then director of telecommunications for the University of Connecticut. He has published numerous papers and has presented seminars in Latin America, North America, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Mr. Michael Mahon has more than 20 years' experience in management, marketing, and customer support services within the information technology and telecommunications industry. He is Network Services Manager for Computer Sciences Corporation, a leading provider of information technology solutions. He has designed, managed, and consulted on numerous hardware and software projects to deliver information services in large corporations and small companies. He holds an MA in psychology and an MBA with an emphasis in marketing, and has published many articles on the productive use of new integrated technologies and the internet. Welcome. Let us begin with an introductory question. Are these multimedia technologies so important, or can organizations be competitive without them?
Well, if speed, accuracy, and consistency are important to your organization, telecommunications and multimedia are indispensable to your future growth and development.
Mike, you agree?
I certainly do, and I think most organizations today are allocating more and more of their capital towards information technology and telecommunications. It is a definite part of their business process today.
Thank you. Let us begin with Module 1, in which Dr. Saba will provide an overview of multimedia and its potential, and will demonstrate the tools of multimedia production.
Thank you. Telecommunication satellites, the internet, and the global telephone system have brought the world together and have truly created what Marshall McLuhan called the global village. Today, through an amazing network of worldwide communications media, people in business, industry, education, health, and many other professions can have instant communication with each other, share a common virtual space, discuss matters of mutual interest, look at computer files together, and engage in collaborative working and learning. In today's global economy, we take instant communication for granted. In other words, the global economy would not have become possible without the benefit of a system of instant worldwide communication, which has enabled us to work together using text, graphics, audio, and video, a format we call multimedia. Multimedia is no longer a luxury for many business, government organizations, and educational institutions. It is a necessity brought about by the demand to stay informed and competitive. Today's economy is a knowledge economy, and knowledge is represented through text, graphics, audio, and video. The immediacy and intimacy brought about by networked multimedia is indispensable for many organizations with global reach. In the multinational work environment of today's economy, it is important that people communicate in the same modes of representation as though they were in the same room. Multimedia and the powerful telecommunication networks of today have made this amazing capability possible. For example, Ford Motor Company uses multimedia and its telecommunications satellite network for training of auto mechanics. It is 50,000 dealerships across the United States. Ivid Communication, a multimedia production company located here in San Diego, California, produces training multimedia programs for Ford. Topics range from how to detect engine problems to how to locate wind, noise, and water leakage in car windows and how to repair them. In fact, Stuart Grossman, the lead designer for production of Ford training multimedia programs, is a graduate of the Educational Technology program here at San Diego State University. In this presentation, I will take a broad look at multimedia today, discuss its potential, and show you the tools of multimedia production. I will also present the process of multimedia development. The combined use of text, graphics, audio, and video, and its instant transmission around the world has become largely possible through computer-based digital media. The computer makes it possible to digitize materials in any mode of communication, integrated in one media platform, and transmit the result through worldwide telecommunication networks. Multimedia requires relatively powerful computers to use multimedia to its fullest potential. A high-end desktop computer running at least 100 megahertz is needed. It should have a 64 or more megabyte of RAM, a video display board, an audio board, at least 1 gigabit of storage space, a 17-inch or larger color monitor, and 2 speakers. In addition, to make digitizing possible, color scanner and a video digitizer are needed. To present the results, a large screen projector, a printer, and additional storage devices such as this 1 gigabyte removable disk drive, a high-speed modem, and access to the internet is necessary. Many manufacturers make these equipment here in the United States. For example, Hewlett-Packard has been making a reliable multimedia computer with peripherals such as scanners and printers. Recently, iOmega has manufactured and marketed a reliable 2 gigabit removable drive which provides the large storage capacity for multimedia production. We have also had good results in our laboratory with Proxima as far as large screen projection of computer output and video is concerned. For makes and models of cards and video digitizers that reside inside your computer, you should consult with the salesperson from whom you are purchasing your main computer. He can offer you advice as to what is available locally. The high-end computers needed for multimedia development and production are between $4,000 to $5,000. Add the peripherals, furniture, and other needed items such as cables and connectors. An entire system may cost as low as $10,000 and as high as $15,000. So, setting up the hardware is not an inexpensive proposition. However, these and the additional costs of personnel and production will be recovered very quickly as your organization becomes more effective and efficient. I will discuss the strengths and benefits of multimedia later in this program. For now, let's concentrate on software. Many software manufacturers have developed excellent and powerful tools for developing and presenting multimedia programs. Among the most popular are Director and Authorware for both the PC and the Macintosh, and Toolbook, which is only available for the PC. These software are called authoring tools, and although they can create text and graphics, they are not media production tools. Authoring tools are great for bringing multimedia elements together and make them work in harmony. Director and Authorware are manufactured by Macromedia. You find pricing and availability on their website. Toolbook is manufactured by Asymmetrics, and they can be found at their website. Depending on the international pricing structure and the version of software you choose to buy, these products can cost from $1,200 to $2,500 US. For creating your media elements, it is always advisable to create them in specialized software and use an authoring tool to bring all of them together in one presentation. Authoring tools not only provide such an environment, but in most cases they also add programming functions, which makes the use of discrete media elements created in other software more effective. For example, multimedia producers rely heavily on Microsoft Word for text processing, Adobe Illustrator for creating original graphics, OmniPage for scanning text and graphics, Photoshop for retouching scanned images and original graphics, Sound Edit 16 for digitizing audio, and QuickTime for digitizing and displaying video, Adobe Premiere for editing video and sound. With computers getting less expensive and more powerful, many software developers have also begun to include 3D images and animation into their programs. Macromedia Director, for example, is an excellent software not only for authoring multimedia programs, but also for producing animation. Several companies such as Softkey, Photodisk, Media Clips, and ClickArt have also created very useful resources for multimedia production. There are graphics and stock photo CDs in the market today that provide thousands of images for including in multimedia programs and presentations. These CDs are copyright free, so you don't have to worry about violating copyright laws or paying royalties. CDs with music clips and sound effects also are sold in the market, which can add a new dimension to your media presentation and make it more effective and appealing. To find these products and their prices, visit an online catalog shopping site such as the website that you see on your screen. These pre-produced materials may satisfy most of your needs in ordinary office presentations. However, if you are creating a multimedia program or a computer game that you wish to market, you need to hire professionals to handle the myriad tasks involved in a multimedia production project. Usually, a full production staff consists of a project manager, a producer, an instructional designer, a subject matter specialist, a writer, a graphic designer, a programmer, a video production crew, which in itself has a director, sound technician, and camera person at a minimum, a photographer, and a support staff, including personnel who specialize in marketing, sales, promotion, and public relations. So multimedia production can become a major task involving many professionals with unique specialties. In fact, titles that are sold in the United States, such as the ones you see on your screen, can cost anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million or more to produce, with most of the expenditure going to cover the cost of professional personnel. It is the #1 cost factor for multimedia production, which tells you if you are talented in media production or have acquired programming or instructional design skills, you can be in demand in the high technology labor market all over the world. The high cost of multimedia development begs the question, is multimedia production cost effective? If you are producing a popular reference CD or a game for the open consumer market, then you must do your market analysis to see if there will be a sufficient number of buyers when you are ready to sell your title. At an average cost of $750,000 in the US and an average price of $50 for a CD title, one must sell 15,000 copies of a title just to break even. If you think you can easily sell that many copies and then some, you have a good idea in mind. But remember that what you create on a high-end production platform with a Pentium processor and multimedia technologies may not play back well on the consumer's equipment. There are many 486 and even 3 and 286 personal computers in people's homes. This has caused a relatively high rate of return for multimedia products in the market. So in developing for the open market, you need to make your CD compatible with average equipment that is at the disposal of most consumers in your market area. As I'm sure you have noticed so far in this presentation, I have assumed that you will distribute your multimedia program on a compact disc. CDs are the most popular distribution media for multimedia programs. A compact disc holds up to 650 megabytes of information, which is enough to hold about 100 average-sized books or a year worth of your local newspaper. In addition, CDs provide enough space for multilingual audio tracks so you can produce and present your product in at least 2, if not more, languages. With access to the internet getting faster by 56 kilobits per second modems and 64 kilobits per second digital ISDN lines, the attention, however, has turned towards the network and the World Wide Web. In fact, Macromedia and Asymmetrics, the makers of Director and Toolbook, have repurposed their authoring tools to support the web and are now marketing their products as web authoring tools as well. The Internet has become the delivery medium of choice for multimedia producers. Nevertheless, because of the lack of fast-speed modems and telecommunications lines, and the fact that CD-ROM players have been installed in every computer shipped for the past 2 years or so, producers continue using the CD technology and will use it for some time to come. Gradually, access to the Internet will be easier and more bandwidth will be available to the consumer at a reasonable price. A medium which may replace the CD is a digital video disc or DVD, a technology we have discussed in a previous ITC video conference. DVDs, which were introduced to the market in 1997, hold 7 times more information than the CDs. That is 4.7 gigabit of storage space. A digital video disc holds about 133 minutes of high-quality audio and video using MPEG-2 video compression. MPEG-2 stands for Motion Picture Experts Group, who sets the standard for video storage, compression, and distribution technologies. Compact computers were one of the first ones to be shipped with DVD-ROM players installed in them. As this new technology becomes more popular, it may replace the CD as a medium of choice for multimedia distribution. Even with faster telecommunication lines and availability of more bandwidth to business, libraries, and households, there will always be a need for a permanent storage medium. At least in the foreseeable future, DVD is a good candidate for the job. Now that we have covered the hardware, software, storage, and distribution issues for multimedia, I would like to turn your attention to multimedia applications in business and industry. These numbers on the screen show the results of a recent survey of 300 companies. As these numbers indicate, business executives' top 2 reasons for adopting multimedia applications are training and business presentations with publications and reference materials to follow. These executives know that the new economy has passed the era of industrialization and has moved into an age where knowledge and know-how define the productivity, resilience, and effectiveness of an organization. In fact, if this data would have been collected only 2 years ago, the results may have been different. For example, business presentations may have received a higher percentage than training and education. But today, what defines the prosperity of one organization over another is the level of skill and knowledge of its employees. Many institutions of higher education, as well as public schools, have also been producing and using multimedia products for teaching and learning. Multimedia provides a natural medium for presenting attractive, informative, and useful teaching and learning materials. In addition, with some programming knowledge, you can add interactive features to your program, which would be required an active response by the student. Faculty and administrators find interactivity and the ability of multimedia software such as AuthorWare to track students' responses to pre-tests, post-tests, and other interactive features particularly useful. For the remainder of this program, I will concentrate on the steps that are necessary in creating a multimedia product. A project is usually born when a proposal is written. A proposal should include a project title, a description, an audience, and a budget. Project proposals are usually based on information collected in a market research or a needs assessment. A careful market survey is needed to make sure that there is a demand for the title under consideration. In the case of instructional multimedia titles, the process usually starts with assessing the training and learning needs of a certain group of employees in an organization, its managers, production personnel, or, for example, in a university, its professors and students, or in government, its public employees. We should also consider the needs of the organization's clients and customers. It is very important to conduct a needs assessment before plunging into multimedia production. As I mentioned, multimedia production is expensive and time-consuming, so your future audience must find what you are going to produce useful and relevant to their needs. Needs assessment can be accomplished by a survey of the target audience. Questions in the survey should assess their level of competency in the skill area which will be addressed in the multimedia program to be produced. Level of prior knowledge of the potential user about the topic of the program is the single most important criterion for learning from a specified mediated training program. If the program matches the needs of the audience and their level of understanding of the subject matter, the program will be successful. To collect adequate data in the case of employees of an organization, the survey can be combined with interviewing a sample group of the target audience, as well as their immediate supervisor or manager. A budget is also a main ingredient of a project proposal. For the project to get accepted and funded, a clear view of its projected costs is essential. It is useful to organize the budget around a matrix. The vertical axis should include pre-production, production, and post-production, and the horizontal axis should include personnel, equipment, services, and materials. For each of the categories in the vertical axis, you should account for the personnel, equipment, services, and materials that are involved in that category. For example, pre-production includes a producer and an instructional designer. You should account for the amount of time you need these two key personnel for pre-production tasks. Once you determine the number of hours or days, multiply that figure with how much they get paid per hour or per day to determine the cost, and enter the amount in the appropriate box. You should continue this process until all your categories are filled. As far as equipment is concerned, you can rent production